Welcome back to FPL Spad, your best place to find FPL content for the 23-24 season. My name is Spad. Today, you're joining me for my transfer watch list for Gameweek 16, in which we look at the 30 most transferred in players and put them in the categories of must-buys, great transfers, good transfers, optional and lucrative transfers, transfers that are gambles, and transfers that we certainly need to avoid for the coming game week ahead. If you like my content, please like and subscribe to my channel for future FPL content if you're new around here. Now let's get on with this transfer watch list. So let's start off in our transfer watch list at the bottom of the 30, which is Walker. In my opinion, he's the optional player to bring in. He's 5.3. Man City haven't been keeping many clean sheets, so I don't think I'll be bringing him into my team. He could be an optional defender to bring in because there's not many defenders to choose from. Currently in FPL, not many teams are keeping clean sheets. So in my opinion, he's an optional. Then we have Van Dijk, 6.1 million. In my opinion, you should avoid him because Liverpool do have some hard games coming up after the Crystal Palace game. And I don't expect them to keep clean sheets in the coming games ahead, especially with Alisson out. So I would avoid him. And I know he got attacking return in the other game, but he's not likely to get that many attacking returns on a regular basis. That was a game where Liverpool got like over 10 corners. So they're bound to get a goal from a corner if you get about 10 corners in one game, you know? So that was an anomaly, and I would avoid getting Van Dijk into your team. Then we have Solanke. In my opinion, he's a good transfer. I think he's got some good games coming up, and he's finding a little bit of form and saw Brighton. So in my opinion, he's a good transfer to bring in at 6.5 million, only as a third striker, not as a second striker, because there's other better options out there. Then we have Malenko. In my opinion, Malenko kept a clean sheet against Newcastle. People have been bringing him in slowly, so it's still a big differential to bring in. In my opinion, he's a good transfer as well. I'm going to put him above Solanke, sorry. Because I think you're more likely to bring in Malenko than you got likely to bring in Solanke as a third striker. Then we have Pedro. He got an assist in the game last night. Didn't keep a clean sheet in the end. I think he's a good buy. Reason being because he's a very attacking player. He goes up that side of the pitch quite a lot. So I'm going to put him just above Solanke. Son. In my opinion, Son did have an off game yesterday. He had only no dribbles at all, one shot in the whole game. So he did have an off game, but he has his time where he doesn't perform sometimes. But then he does some other games. So in my opinion, he's a good transfer, but I'm going to put him at the bottom of the good transfer list. He's not one of my transfers that I'll be making this game week against Newcastle at home. Then we have Haaland. I think he's a must-buy this game week if you don't already have him. They're playing Luton. Luton is going to be a game where Man City will look to back to winning ways with a bang, as they have drawn 3 games now and lost 1 game in the last 4. So they need to go back to winning ways, and Luton will be very unhappy that they are the ones that are going to be the part of the shooting drill for Haaland, because he is going to want to score, in my opinion, at least a hat-trick in that game. Some people might be even going for triple captain. I wouldn't recommend it because Man City team does have a double game week coming up later on in the year. So, yeah, but he should be most likely your captain. Then we have Trippier. I'm going to put him in a good transfer list because he still has attacking output. He made a critical mistake yesterday that led to the first goal against Everton. And before that goal went in, him, Dubravka were one of the top players to get all 3 bonus points, keeping the clean sheet. I was very happy to do it at the point because I had 3 Newcastle defenders and I was going to make a bunch of points from them. In the last 10 minutes, Newcastle collapsed and I lost those points. So, but still, I expect Trippier to get some attacking returns against Tottenham, as Tottenham are a very attacking team, high line, and Trippier could make use of that and getting some assists for Son or Kuvcetski or Brennan Johnson. So, in my opinion, it's still a good transfer to bring in if you don't already have him. Then we have Alvarez. I'm going to put him in the optional category. He just hasn't been the same lately, or performance-wise. I don't know what's wrong, but I'm going to put him in the optional category. I will not be bringing him in, especially I will only want to own one Man City player up to game week 18. Reason being, blank game week, and it's easier to bench one player than have multiple Man City players and having to use a free hit or doing multiple transfers, which I would not recommend. Then we have Garnacho. I think Garnacho might be a good transfer because he's nailed down his position lately. He has got a good game against Bournemouth at home, where he might be able to get some good points, you know. And after that, they have got some good hard games though, where he could not get no returns. But at 4.7 million, if you have a fifth a midfielder that you want to rotate in your 8-man attack, then he is the choice to go for. At 4.7 million, a bargain. Then we have Edison. I would avoid him. I don't think I'll be bringing in Edison as a keeper, as there are much better other choices out there to bring in Edison. Same goes for the next one, Onana. I don't know who's bringing them in, but crazy people in my opinion. I will not be bringing them in. Maybe one game week, yeah, Bournemouth at home, you keep a clean sheet. But then they've got some hard games after that, where I don't expect United to be keeping clean sheets. So, and he makes howlers sometimes. So, in my opinion, he's an avoid. Then we have Gross. In my opinion, I would avoid him as well. You got other better picks in the Brighton team. People are just bringing him in because he got quite a bit of points last game week, and that's just those trendsetters that like to do transfers on the highest points made in the previous game week. So I would avoid him as well. Then we have Martinez. I think he's an optional. No, actually, he's a. Now I'm gonna put him in the void as well, you know, because he's 4.9 million, and it's not too expensive, but expensive enough for me not to go for him. I know he kept a clean sheet last game week against Man City, but before that he wasn't keeping many clean sheets, and they got Arsenal at home, so very unlikely that he'll keep a clean sheet in that game as well. So in my opinion, avoid him as a keeper transfer as well, because there's other better picks out there. Then we have Pedro. In my opinion, he's optional because he is a rotation risk, and too much of a risk for me to bring him in. His price went up today to 5.4. Still, I want to be bringing him into my team. Too much of a rotation risk for third choice striker. Then we have Mitoma. Same thing again. Too much of a rotation risk. Brighton are rotating heavily at the moment because they've got Europa games as well. So I'll put him ahead of Pedro because he's got a better chance of starting than Pedro. And you know what? I'm going to have to put Walker below that and the Alvarez below them, because I think Mitoma is probably the best option out of all for them at the moment. Then we've got Foden. Again, optional in my opinion, and I'm going to put him ahead of Walker. He hasn't been the best of form lately either, but we know his quality is there. He's still learning, still young. So, again, another optional one for me. Then we have Colwell. In my opinion, Colwell is a good transfer. I'm going to put him just below Malenko. Reason being, as we've seen with Pochettino, he has played him as centre-back and as left-back. So he's got more than one position that he can play. So he's less likely to get rotated, but just get moved around in the defensive back line. And he's one of the cheapest players in that Chelsea back line. So in my opinion, he's a good transfer. After the Everton game, they have got some good games coming up after that, where they're likely to keep quite a few clean sheets. And hopefully he can get some attacking returns as well. Then we have Saka. I'll put him in the great transfers because Saka does step up in the big game sometimes. And I would want him. Actually, wait, you know what? He's a good transfer because Villa away, it's not going to be easy. They're on a 14-game winning streak. And his price has gone up to 8.9. So he's getting a bit more expensive now than usual. But in the long run, he might be needed in your team as he is the focal point of Arsenal's attack. He creates many, many goals. I'm going to leave him in a great transfer list. Maybe for not this game week, but if you're having to use it because you don't want to get caught out by his price increase like I have in the past, is the reason why I don't have him in my team, because of price rises. And sometimes price rises can affect your team to bring in certain players that you want. So for that reason, I'm going to put him in great transfer, because if you really want him, you might as well get him now before his price goes up. His price is not likely to go up this game week, maybe next week, but still, in my opinion, a great transfer because he's able to get some returns in coming game weeks ahead. Then we have Watkins. I'm going to put him in the great transfer as well. Reason being, I took him out. Reason being, because I thought he's injured. Actually, you know what? Nah, I have to put him in a good transfer because they do have some hard games. Very hard to choose between the two. I'm going to leave it a great transfer because a lot of people have him and he's like producing more or less nearly every game. He blanked last game week against Man City, produced the game week before that when I took him out. So, yeah, I'm going to put him actually ahead of Saka because they're playing at home. So he's got a better chance of getting returns this game week than he did in the last one. Then we have McTominay. In my opinion, McTominay is optional and lucrative transfer. Reason being, I think people will start bringing him in. And he's a good fifth choice midfielder to have in your team. Because there's some games where he's actually top scorer for Man United with 5 goals. Believe it or not, 15 games in. And he is Man United's top scorer with 5 goals. So he's like the Hendo of Liverpool for Man United. Like, knows what it means to play for the club and would work his socks off for them. So in my opinion, he's an optional or lucrative transfer to bring in. Because I don't expect him to get goals every week. But certain games you might want him in your team. And against Bournemouth, he could be the difference maker in getting a massive boost in your differential points. And I'm going to put him ahead of Mitoma because of the price. And he has less chance of rotation. Then we have Cunha. It's a good game to bring him for this game week, but not after that. You know, maybe keep him after that. You know what? I'm going to keep him after that as well. So let's keep him for a good transfer, but I'm not going to put him pretty high. I'm going to put him pretty low. I'm going to put him below Solanke. Because he's a striker. I thought he was a midfielder initially, but he's actually a forward. So I wouldn't be bringing him, like, your forward spaces are really, like, hard to accommodate as well. So I'm going to put him below Solanke. Then we have Sanchez. I think Sanchez is a good signing because they've got some good games coming up after the Everton game where they may be able to keep a couple of clean sheets. A lot of people have started bringing him in. That's why he's on this list. Reason being because he made a penalty save last game week and made a hell of a lot of saves as well and got bonus points, I think. I don't think he got bonus points, but he got points for making saves. So that's why a lot of people have started bringing him in. But he is a better option than the other ones that I've put in a void because of his price. So in my opinion, for that reason, he's a good transfer. And I'm going to put him just below Sanchez. Trippier, sorry. And you know what? I'm going to put Cunha in the optional category. He's not a transfer that I think will be good in the end. So I'm going to put him in the optional category. Yeah, optional category, and I put a bit higher than Foden. Because the thing with Man City players are, they will be benched in game week 18. So that's the reason why they have to be higher than the Man City players. Then we have Sterling, who has been on and off this whole season. One of the most experienced players in the Chelsea squad at the moment. He's not too expensive. 7 million is a good price to have him at. But I find it, they have got good games, but I need to see a bit more from Chelsea, like consistency where it's lacks. They've performed good one week, don't perform good another week, and Everton away is not going to be easy. Everton are playing good football again, it's being solid. They just beat Newcastle at home 3-0, which was an amazing result for them. They're fighting. So for that reason, I'm going to put him in the optional category, 1 point a bit higher for this game week. Unless you're scared about his price going up and you're thinking bringing him in, then I'll put him for that. Then we have Dubravka. He can fill up a lot of slots, lucrative slot, because his price will be going up. As I see a lot of people bringing in a 4 million goalkeeper that is in part of one of the best defense in the Premier League. Bear in mind they lost 3-0 yesterday. Like, he was on course to get all 3 bonus points. He made 3 saves already at that point. He was getting 1 point for that. Clean sheet, 2 points played. He was going to make a buttload of points for me. But it all went downhill in the last 10 minutes. And in the end, only scored 1 point as they let in 3 goals. Like, I would have been all right with 1 goal because he still would have made 2 points, but it is what it is. But in my opinion, he's a great transfer to do this game week, even though they got Tottenham away. Reason being, because his price will be going up at a crazy rate, where you might, the whole point of bringing him to Bracker in is to get him as cheap as possible. So a lot of people might have their teams already set and they've got a free extra transfer to do, and they want to change their keeper, especially with a lot of people that had Ariola as their first choice goalkeeper when he was cheap, and he didn't even play last night. Sorry. So there's a chance. That's why you see a lot of keepers being bought in this game week, because Ariola was dropped and people need to replace him because they can't have. Because then the other keeper they had was Turner, and both keepers had been dropped. I'm not exactly sure about Turner's been dropped, but I'm not sure about Ariola, if he was injured or sick, because he wasn't even on the squad game. But otherwise, I think Dubravka is a great transfer to bring in at 4 million, where it allows you to spend the extra cash that you make from selling your current keeper to use somewhere else in your team. Then we have Bowen. I think he's a great transfer. They do have some games that are hard, some games are not, but he's coming back in form. And just overnight, he became into the top 30 transfers out of nowhere with 100k and people transferring him in. Because as I was doing my editing yesterday, he wasn't even on the list. And then out of nowhere, boom, 100,000 people transferred him in this morning when I woke up. So, in my opinion, a great transfer to bring into your team, as he is a goal getter for West Ham right now, who don't have a recognised ST at the moment. Then we have Trent. People don't like to bring him in because of his price point at 8 million. They think that extra money can be spent somewhere else. But if you have a solid team that you're happy with and you have extra cash in your team and you can bring in Trent, I would, because I think he is a baller, and right now he's playing probably his best form in a while. Like I've said before, Trent needs a few games to get going, and then he just keeps on going till he gets a bit of a niggle injury, which happened a few weeks ago when he first got injured. That's why I said I'm not going to bring him back in straight away. I'm going to wait for him for the certain game week to bring him in. I messed up by not bringing him in 3 game weeks ago, which has cost me up until now with my rank. I'll be a lot higher in rank if I'd brought him in initially with my initial plans, which failed. If you've seen my videos before, you know why. But otherwise, I think he's a great transfer to bring in. I'm not going to put him at the top of it. I'm going to put him at the bottom of it because of his price point. Because not everyone can afford to bring in Trent into your team. Or if you're thinking about replacing Trippier, maybe. If you think Newcastle have at the time. Because Newcastle did look really tired yesterday at the end of that game. Is the reason why they let in the extra 2 goals. They look just dead in the water. So that is something to watch out for. Then we have Gordon. I'm going to put him at the top of the list for great transfers. Because I think at 6.1 million, his price went up today. It's still incredibly cheap for a player that is getting good returns. He blanked yesterday, but everyone blanked at Newcastle yesterday. But the games after the Tottenham game, they've got good games coming up. So the only reason he's a great transfer this game week is reason being because we don't want to get caught out with the price rise and then you're not unable to afford him. So that for that reason, if you need to bring him in this game week, if you don't already have him at 6.1 million, he's still a great transfer in against Tottenham, who do play a high line and has opportunity to get goals against them. Then we have Hechan. Hechan, in my opinion, is a good transfer. But reason being why he's not a great transfer is because he'll be going off to the Asia Cup in January. So he'll miss that. So you'll have to take him out in a few game weeks. So that's the reason why he's not a great transfer. But otherwise, he's a good transfer. He's got a good game week this game week. Then after, he's got some hard games coming up where I wouldn't want to have him in my team. Where I'm looking to take him out anyway after this game week, most likely. Hopefully for another price rise to get the extra profit and take him out. And that coincides with the Asia Cup. So it's a win-win in my opinion for me. But if you're looking to bring him in this game week, I would, he's, you know what, he can't be that high up in this if he's only good for 1 game week, you know. So I'm going to put him down to below Garnacho, because Garnacho's the same thing, 1 game week as well. He's got some hard games coming up as well. So, yeah. And then we have Palmer. I think Palmer is a great transfer. Actually, a good transfer as well. Reason being, there's a slight chance of him getting rotated, as we saw the game week before this one, where he came on just after the penalty was given. If he was on before that, he would have took the penalty himself and got the goal. He got a goal last game week as well, which was the only one that scored. I'm going to put him above Garnacho because he's on penalties. And they got good games coming up after the Everton game, and you're trying to get him in before the price. He got price rise today as well, I think, to 5.4 million. So, yeah, he probably will get another price rise. Not after this game week, literally like a few days later, I reckon, when people are able to make their next free transfer. Some people will rush to get some of these players in before they get the next price rise. So we have to watch out for that. So that is it for the 30 most transferred in players. I didn't really have a gamble one this week. Maybe I should. Should I change it? You know what? Some of these players could be gambles, in my opinion. But the voids are the voids. I will not go nowhere near them. They're just too much of a risk, in my opinion. Haaland is a must-buy. Has to be against Luton away. Some people might even triple captain him. The great transfers. Gordon, amazing. Watkins, great. Saka, great. Dubravka, cheap and cheerful, great. Bowen, producing returns, playing as a temporary ST for West Ham. And Trent, the baller, who is literally right now on top form, kept a clean sheet last game week as well, including getting an assist. In my opinion, he's the main man at Liverpool. Vice captain, knows what it means to play for Liverpool, and he'll be on it. I know they've got Crystal Palace away, which ain't going to be an easy game, but Crystal Palace haven't beaten themselves lately either. And then they've got a few hard games coming after that, which is United at home. But in that game, I expect Liverpool to run riot. It's just going to be an amazing game. So, yeah, that's for the great transfers. Good transfers are a bit iffy. They're not great and just like from great, you know. So, there'd be like temporary gamble, in my opinion, some of the good transfers. But the great transfers are amazing, in my opinion. So, that is it. So, that's it for my transfer watch list for Game Week 16. I hope you enjoyed it and found it interesting and got some tips of it for your transfers for Game Week 16. It's a quick turnaround. Deadline is tomorrow at 11 a.m. I'll be doing my deadline stream at 10 a.m. You can join me to do any last-minute changes to your team and your captaincy picks that you need to do. And hopefully get some early team moves for the Liverpool game against Crystal Palace so we can make our final choices in our teams. If you like my content, please like and subscribe to my channel for future FPL content. If you're new around here, please share with your friends and family to help me grow to about 100 subscribers by the end of the year. Thank you again for joining me. See you again next time. See ya!